Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Erin Williams. I am one of the International Student Advisors at the International Students and Programs Office. We may have interacted already and you may have seen my non-DS 2019 documents. We are very excited to welcome you here to UC San Diego. I'm glad that you're here with us to attend our orientation today. So we're going to get started with a brief overview, a little video of ISPO.
Hello Tritons, whether you're a new Triton or a returning one.
Welcome to Fall Quarter.
We are thrilled to be here.
To support you wherever you are on your journey.
ISPO is here for you.
Whether you are in this time zone
or somewhere else around the world.
Many of you will be joining us from your home countries.
While some are on campus or down the street.
We are here for you.
We are ready to connect with you.
To make sure that you have the support you need.
This quarter is unlike any before and likely any to come.
Just know that no matter the challenges you face,
we are here to support you.
So as you prepare to start your courses, just remember,
we are a phone call, email, or Zoom meeting away.
ISPO is here for you.
ISPO is here for you.
Welcome to Fall Quarter.
Agenda, we'll be talking about relevant information for students participating in the EAP program. We will be going over our ISPO office, how we are here to be your support system. We will be discussing knowing the rules, so we'll go over all of the things regarding J1 regulations, your documents, travel, and planning for your arrival. Throughout our time together, I may ask you some questions, so make sure you're paying attention. And make sure you're able to find the raise your hand icon on your screen to stay engaged and be able to answer those questions with us all today. Okay, we at ISPO are here for you. Our office is made up of 20 friendly advisors, administrative staff, and student assistants who are all here to help you. We are here to help advise you on understanding your immigration status, the rules of working on and off campus, traveling, and how to navigate academic life here at UC San Diego. Our office is not only an office on campus that can help you during your program of study. We also have a bigger cohort of people that are here to support you and assist you throughout your time. Those include both career centers, faculty in your departments, coordinators of EAP, of your programs. We're all here to help you navigate your programs of study here at UCSCO. And we will be here to help assist you in liaison with those different offices to make sure that you have the most enriched and successful program of study here. Okay, now let's look at some rules that apply to you for this fall quarter. Maintaining your status. So we use the word maintaining your status quite a bit during our talk. What this means is, what does this actually mean and how does this apply to you? So we will be going over and discussing holding an active CVIS record, a valid F or J1 status, following ATA status, and making sure to understand ways in which you are able to maintain that status and have a valid record for your entire program here at UC San Diego. I do apologize. It looks like I was kicked off of the video, but hopefully my audio is still connected and you all can still hear me okay. So when ISPO first issues you a Form I-20 or DS 2019, you hold an initial status. This means you're ready to start your program on the program start date that is listed on your DS 2019 document. Once you arrive to the US and start your program, ISPO will then activate your CVIS record. So that activation of your CVIS record will mean submitting our iPortal check-in form. By submitting that form, that is going to be how it will activate your CVIS record and your status here. Maintaining your status means that you will follow certain rules, regulations, and reporting requirements duration of your program here at UC San Diego. All right. If you don't follow the rules, you can then fall out of status and accrue unlawful presence in the US, which is not good. You always want to make sure that you are maintaining status in the United States. So from your true program end, you will continue to maintain your status, but enter into something called a grace period. So the grace period allows you to plan for your next step while still remaining here in the United States. During this grace period, you can do things such as apply for work authorization, start classes at a new school, prepare to transfer to a new school to begin those courses, prepare to depart the US, or even change your status from a J to a different visa category. When completing your program, F1 students will have a 60-day grace period, while our J1 students, which will be all of our EAP students, will have a 30-day grace period. You'll continue to maintain active status if you apply to work after graduation. If you transfer to a new school to start a graduate program or a degree program within the 5 months of ending your program, you'll return to an initial status at the new school and you'll have to start this process over again. We know the majority of our EAP students will be returning to complete their program of study in their home universities, but we just want to make sure that all students are aware of these regulations and options. So all may not apply to you, as you will not be continuing on to a degree program, rather returning to your home university to be completing your program there. We always want to just make sure our students are well aware of all of the regulations surrounding their visa types. If you decide to depart the US or do not take any action before the end of this period, your CVIS record will auto-complete and then you will no longer be in an active status. So it's really important to pay attention to your grace period along with the program end date of your studies, which is located on your DS-2019 document. As mentioned, the 60-day grace period will start following the end date as listed on your DS-2019. So it's really important to pay close attention to that and plan and make sure that by the end of your 60-day grace, you have taken action to either depart the US, to return home, have applied for that work authorization, or if you are changing status, have necessary steps to do so, so that you are in a good status before the end of your grace period, so you're not falling out of status, as we don't want to happen. All right. So maintaining your status means that you will follow certain rules, regulations, and requirements for the duration of your program here in the United States. J1 students outside of the US for the fall quarter who hold initial status are not subject to these regulations until they arrive to the United States. So if you do find yourself in a J1 status after DS 2019 but have not physically arrived to the US, you will want to get in contact with us at ISPO so we can discuss options with updating your CVIT and your start date on your DS 2019. Those of you that have successfully traveled and are here in the United States, these next few set of slides information will apply to you about enrolling full-time and maintaining your status. So again, if you have requested for a DS 2019 document, but you are still outside of the US and have not traveled yet, this will be information that will be applicable once you arrive. If you will remain outside for the fall quarter, we would strongly urge you to get in contact with ISPO as soon as possible so that we can talk through the necessary steps to get your statuses updated, okay? All right, so now we'll look at some of the rules that may impact you when you begin your program of study. This includes enrolling full-time, maintaining your academic standing and integrity, and obtaining work authorizations, okay? All right. So for the first one of enrolling full-time, you should plan to enroll full-time and remain enrolled full-time in a minimum of 12 units for each academic quarter at UC San Diego. Summer is not required and is considered a vacation term. So in the summer quarters, you won't have to worry about having that full-time enrollment. I know most of EAP students will not be enrolled for the summer, so will only be for the fall, winter, and spring quarters. So it's really imperative that you are enrolled full-time in a minimum of 12 units for the academic quarters. as you are required to enroll full-time to maintain your visa status. However, there are exceptions to taking less than 12 units. Prior to dropping to 12 units, you will have to apply for reduced course load authorization from ISPO through our iPortal system. Since your I-20 or DS-2019 has not been activated yet, ISPO will not reflect an approval of a reduced course load. However, you will still be required to request this authorization in iPortal. So that's only if you are still outside of the US and will not be entering for the fall quarter. If you are physically here, you will have to apply and that status will have to be authorized before you go below those 12 units, okay? If you end up taking less than 12 units this fall, you'll still be able to use your academic RCL or medical RCL once you arrive to campus. So think of this as a practice quarter to adjust to the courses that you not have been able to get to because of not being here full-time of study here in the United States. Okay, so now we're going to take a test about academic standing and integrity. So we're going to watch a short video and then we'll have a quick question after the video.
If my friend and I study together, it's okay to submit the exact same assignment and paper to our professor, since we'll probably come up with the same answer.
Okay, so what do you think? Hit your hand icon if you think this is true. All right, good job. I see no one used the raise your hand icon, which means that every one of you knew that that answer was false. Great job, you guys. Okay, so academic integrity violations have serious impacts on your immigration status. You'll learn about excelling with integrity by visiting our academic integrity office at aio.ucsd.edu, which you can see on our screen here. It's important that you review course syllabi and understand what is expected of you when collaborating with your classmates and conducting research. Those who are subject to suspension due to academic integrity violations can face up to 1 quarter to 1 full academic year of suspension. This may cause delays with your enrollment and program of study at UC San Diego and may ultimately cause you to not continue your program of study here. So it's really important that you take these academic integrity standards seriously, review them and understand them, and make sure that if you are collaborating with classmates, that you understand the requirements before submitting that work. Alrighty, so on the topic academics, we also wanted to spend a few minutes talking about academic advising here at UC San Diego and how to find assistance you need to enroll in your courses, help you with picking those classes. The video that we're going to watch now will explain the academic advising system at UC San Diego. So Grace, if you can play them in the chat box, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hello, and welcome to UC San Diego. In this video, we will provide an overview of academic advising at the university, as well as some helpful academic information you should consider during your time here. One thing that is unique about our campus is the 7-college system. You have been assigned to one of our 7 colleges for your time with us. This means you have access to the resources of a large public research institution and the comfort and support of a small college community. UCSD has a 2-part academic advising system. You will be able to work with college academic advisors as well as the department advisors while you are here. Academic advisors are available to assist you in planning for enrollment. We can help you review class options available, understand course prerequisites, and determine the appropriate number of units for your schedule, as well as guide you in making decisions that will benefit your academic plan. College academic advisors provide assistance regarding general academic advising questions at the university, referrals to the campus academic resources, and more. We understand that students may experience difficulty adjusting to a new university environment or face challenges due to the variety of unforeseen circumstances. College academic advisors are here to help you come up with strategies to assist you with your success here. Department academic advisors can provide assistance regarding specific academic courses offered at the university and resources related to your success in those courses. UCSD is on what's known as a quarter system. In an academic year, we have 3 quarters: fall, winter, and spring. Each quarter is 10 weeks long with an additional week of final exams. Throughout the quarter, most of the courses will have exams beginning week 3 or 4. Though there may be a few assignments or points given for participation in attendance, oftentimes grades for courses are based on exams, papers, and a final. The grading structure for courses vary by instructor, so it's important to read your syllabus and attend professor and TA office hours. Official grades are available approximately 1 week after final. The transition to a quarter system can sometimes be difficult due to the fast pace, so please keep this in mind when planning your courses. As with a large university, there are a lot of academic deadlines to keep track of throughout the quarter. And academic advisors are happy to help clarify those with you. These deadlines are all posted on Triton Link and strictly enforced. Students are responsible for knowing them. The end of week 2 is the deadline to add courses. The end of week 4 is the deadline to drop courses without a W grade and change grading options, which we will discuss in a moment. The end of week 6 is the deadline to drop most courses with a W grade. If for some reason you will need to be enrolled in 10 units or less, please consult with the International Students Program Office. The W grade means that you'll be dropped from a class means that you dropped a class after the past deadline, and you will not impact your GPA and will be repeated for credit. You can have only 1 W per class.
Courses numbered 1 through 99 are lower division courses and are normally designed for first year and sophomores. Courses numbered 100 through 99 are upper division courses and are typically open to students who have completed at least 1 lower division course that prepares them for the more specialized content. They are probably most of the courses you've enrolled in as an EAPR student. Prerequisites and course restriction information for each course is available online in the UC San Diego General Catalog. The prerequisites or restrictions must be completed prior to enrolling in a course if they are required. If you wish to enroll in a course that has a prerequisite or restriction and have completed similar prerequisite courses at your home institution, you can submit a pre-authorization request using the Enrollment Authorization System, or EASY, which is located in Triton Link. You will need to include justification for your request, such as a transcript or official test scores. If a course is full, you can add yourself to what's known as a wait list. If an enrolled student drops the course, students are added from the wait list in order. There is no guarantee that you'll get into a class if you add yourself to a wait list. We don't recommend waitlisting for a course if seats are available. It's much better to be enrolled in the class than to waitlist. If you do add yourself to the waitlist for a course, you'll have to continue checking your schedule and your UC San Diego email to see whether you were automatically added into the course or not. If you no longer want to be enrolled in the course, you should drop yourself from the waitlist. Students will continue to be added to classes from the waitlist through the end of Thursday of week 2 of the quarter. The last day students are able to add into a course with seats available is Friday of week 2. For questions regarding getting into a course, contact the respective department for assistance and let them know you're an EAPR student. Most UC San Diego courses are worth 4 units each. Enrolling in 12 units per quarter, or about 3 classes, is the minimum required units for international students to be considered full-time student. A full course load is considered 16 units per quarter, or about 4 classes. Because of how fast the quarter system is, we do not recommend enrolling in more than 16 units per quarter. If you need to be enrolled in less than 12 units per quarter, be sure to speak with the International Center advisor as soon as possible before dropping any classes. UC San Diego has 2 grading options, letter grade and pass no pass. A letter grade reflects your performance in a class and results in grade points that count towards your GPA. Students can earn up to an A or as low as an F for a course. A pass no pass shows that you have either passed or not passed a class and does not factor into your GPA. Students whose overall performance in a class is a C- or higher will receive a pass grade. Performance in a class that is below a C- will result in a no pass grade and no unit credit. Please check with your home institution if you would like to take a class for pass no pass.
The quarter system can be an adjustment for many students. Depending on how difficult a course is, a general guide to remember is for every hour you spend in class, you'll be studying 2 to 3 hours outside of class for that course. For example, if you're taking 3 classes or 12 units, you'll be studying about 36 hours per week. We encourage you to be thoughtful about your unit load. Students who are successful academically at UC San Diego tend to have a mastery of time management, are proactive and prepared for class, utilize professor and TA office hours, get involved on and off campus, and know deadlines and use resources available to them. Academic advising at UCSD is a collaborative relationship between you and your advisors. To best support you, we strongly encourage you to check and read your UCSD email frequently, as this is the official means of communication at the university. We encourage you to meet with your college and department academic advisors whenever you have academic questions and to establish a working relationship with us. We're here to help you. We expect you to be an active participant in your education and to be knowledgeable of university policies and deadlines and to ask for clarification when questions arise. We ask that you honor any appointments that you make with us and come prepared with any questions you may have. You will contact college and department academic advising in a number of different ways. Each department manages their own meetings with students, so be sure to look under the Meet an Advisor tab in the VAC to see your options. During drop-in advising hours, you can meet with an academic advisor for 10 to 15 minutes to get quick questions answered. Appointments are usually 15 to 30-minute sessions that are scheduled in advance. Refer to your college and department websites for specific availability. Virtual advising is also available at all times through the Virtual Advising Center at vac.ucsd.edu. You can submit a brief question and an academic advisor will respond to your question within 1 to 2 business days. This is a great way to get quick questions answered, especially if you're not on campus. So thank you so much for watching this video. We hope that you have a better understanding of how academic advising works at UC San Diego and the various areas that advisors can support you during your time. We look forward to connecting with you once the quarter begins, and we hope you enjoy your time at UCSD.
Right, so hopefully that gave you a really comprehensive overview of the academic system here at UC San Diego, some great tips, resources, and information to help you along your educational journey through our EAP program. We'll move on now to watch another short video. This one will be about employment authorization. So let's check that one out.
Now that I have a social security card, I can work anywhere, anytime.
Let's see, do you think yes? Raise your hand if you think that is true. All right, let's see. Okay, yes, that is actually false. So F1 and J1 international students are required to apply for work authorization before they begin their employment. So we'll go on to talk a little bit more about obtaining that work authorization. So before you start working, you need to find out ways in which you will have to get that work authorization. It's really imperative that you do not start working until you have the proper work authorization to do so. As an international J1 student, you are required to first have an active CBIS record and then are required to apply and receive work authorization for any kind of employment you are planning to do. This includes both paid and unpaid internships. If the employment is on campus, you will have to apply for J1 on-campus work authorization. If the employment is off campus, you will have to apply for off-campus work authorization. You can find out more about this work authorization by visiting our website at iwork.ucsc.edu to explore the different types of employment that are available to you during your program of study. Our international students that may find themselves outside of the US for the fall quarter, you will also need to discuss about employment authorizations available to you while participating in your off-campus education. So it's really imperative that you also get in contact with ISPO if you do find yourself studying in your home country for the fall quarter, but are looking into finding any kind of work authorizations, okay? So yes, definitely make sure to check out our website at iwork.ucsc.edu and also let us know if you have any questions. Again, it's really important to apply and have this work authorization before you begin your employment. As J1 students are required to have authorization in order to work in any paid or unpaid position here in the United States. All right. So now that we've discussed maintaining your status, we will now move over to our document self-check. So if you have these documents handy, take them out. We will be discussing and going over them in some length. That includes your passport, your visa page, which will be inside of your passport, your form DS-2019, and if you have it, your form I-94. We'll go over some much important information about them. So if you do have those, make sure to pull them out now as we will be discussing and going over those together. Alrighty. So now we'll take another short video about these immigration documents.
I think I can throw away past immigration documents like my I-20 and DS-2019 if I get updated ones.
Great. What do you think? Use the raise your hand icon if you think this is true. Wrong. Alrighty. So it's really important that you keep all of your documents. Your immigration documents are extremely important. You never want to throw them away or disregard them. You always want to make sure that you have them and keep them in a safe place. Okay. So make sure not to throw away any of your visa documents while you are here studying in the US. As mentioned, your immigration documents are extremely important. You'll use them during your program to apply for work authorization, driver's license, bank accounts, social security cards, and any other kinds of benefits here in the US. As we've learned, you'll want to make sure to keep all copies of your Form DS-2019 that you have been issued from our office and at every other institution that you might find yourself. When you are done with the program, it's really important that you still keep those DS-2019s in a safe place. If you ever find yourself back in the US studying, you will need those documents and have to have that information available to you. So please make sure to keep them safe. It's also really important that you keep all of your documents valid and up to date. It's a really good idea to take photos of your documents and keep those digital copies on your phone or laptop so that they are accessible to you if in the case you ever misplace any of the documents. Okay. Lastly, every time you enter the US, it's really important to do this document self-check that we will be doing together to make sure that you have entered in the correct visa status and all of your information matches and are correct for your program. So the first document that we will be taking a look at is your passport. So on your passport, you will see the following information. It includes your name, the date of expiry. It's imperative that your passport is valid for at least 6 months into the future. So please make sure you're checking out that passport expiration date and you are ensuring that before you embark on any international travel, you have a valid passport. It's important that your passport is valid during your program of study in the US, and it is a regulation that it is valid for your entire program here. So if your passport will be expiring soon, It's important that you make those necessary arrangements to renew your passport, as it is required to have a valid passport during your program of study here in the United States. On your passport, you want to make sure that your biographical information is correct. So if you haven't done that already, make sure that you check that out on your passport. It's also important that you check out your expiration date, as I mentioned, and ensure that your passport is valid for at least 6 months into the future. Every time you travel, it's important that it is valid for 6 months into the future. And as I mentioned, during your program, you have to have a valid passport. One of the great things is that you can renew your passport inside of the United States, or if you do find yourself outside, you could also renew it outside of the US at your country's embassy or consulate. If you have any questions about renewing your passport, please feel free to get in contact with us and we can go over renewing your passport and any questions that you might have. Okay, the next document we're going to be discussing is your visa. So this document is inside of your passport, and we at the International Students and Programs Office like to refer to this document as a key. So this document is used to enter the United States. It is a requirement to have and to be issued in order to come into the country. However, once you are inside of the United States, it's okay if you no longer have the key or have a valid visa. As long as you're maintaining your status, which we have been talking about, it's okay that your visa is expired or will be expiring as long as you remain in the US and are making the necessary steps to maintain your J1 CVIS record here in the US. This doesn't mean that you should get rid of your passport, not keep your keep your visa in a safe place. It's just letting you know that this is only required every time you enter the US, okay? So on your visa, you want to make sure that the biographical information is correct. So you want to note the number of entries, when it expires, and that it is the correct visa category for your program. So you want to make sure that all that information is valid and does match your passport as well as the DS-2019 document that you were issued. And you want to ensure that your visa is and your passport are in a safe place. Okay. So next we'll just do a little quick check to make sure everyone understands that. So what would you do? So we're gonna see. So you're inside of the United States and you notice that your J1 visa is expiring in 2 months, which is in the middle of the fall quarter. Can you remain in the US legally? Raise your hand if you think that is yes. Let's do a quick pulse check. All right, so that is actually false. So your visa, as we talked about, only has to be valid at the point of entry. However, you unfortunately cannot renew your visa in the United States. You can only renew your visa when you are outside of the US. Unlike your passport, which you can renew either in or out of the US, your visa can only be renewed outside of the United States. If you are in the US and you're maintaining your status and do not have any plans to travel internationally, you don't have to make a special trip to go renew your visa. However, if you do and have international plans and are planning to leave the US and do have a visa that will be expiring, it's really important that you make plans to renew your visa in your home country before you return back to the United States, okay? Alrighty. So now, oh, you guys, I am so sorry. I answered that incorrectly. Oh my goodness, where is my brain today? So yes, you all answered correct. You all should be giving this presentation. You can remain in the United States with an expired visa as long as you are maintaining your status. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, you are all correct. You are able to stay here in the US as long as you are maintaining your status and making sure that you have that valid passport, enrolling full-time, applying for the correct authorizations to be here in the United States. All right. So the next document we're going to be looking at is the Form DS-2019. So on the Form DS-2019, you will find information such as your program end date, your program level, your major program of study, and your biographical information. So during your program, if any of this information changes, you will have to renew it and update it within 10 days of that change. So if you decide that you are going to be taking an extension, you have gotten that authorization from UC EAP and your home university and will be extending and taking additional quarter at UC San Diego, that does require for you to apply for that extension change on your DS-2019. And it's imperative that you make that change within 10 business days and before your program end date on your DS-2019 document, okay? If you see any discrepancies on your document in terms of your biographical data, your name, your birth date, any of those things, you would want to let us know so that we can make that update and that change as soon as possible and reissue that DS-2019 document, okay? All requests for updating your DS-2019 will be submitted through our iPortal application system, which will be iportal.ucsd.edu. We are here to assist and support if you have any questions about updating anything on your DS-2019 document. All right. Alrighty, so now we're talking about the Fall 2021 check-in form. So if you have entered the United States and you are here and you have come into the country or in San Diego, you will need to submit our Fall 2021 check-in form so that we can validate your status and mark you as arrived and here at UC San Diego, excuse me. So to do this, what you will have to do is you will have to visit iportal.ucsd.edu and complete our check-in form. You'll also need to make sure that you have an updated current address as your foreign address in Triton Link. So you want to make sure to check both that you have an updated address and that you submit our check-in form. When you are submitting the check-in form, you will need to download and provide us a PDF copy of your Form I-94. So your Form I-94 is a document that is your arrival and departure record. So to get this document, you will need to visit the website i94.cbp.dhs.gov. Don't feel like you have to memorize that. We do have those links all over our website, and we'll be sharing this PowerPoint presentation so that you have all these links available to you. So once you've arrived in the US, you will then want to go onto this website to retrieve and download your digital I-94. As mentioned, the I-94 is your arrival/departure record. It's generated every time you depart and enter the United States. Typically, it takes about 24 to 48 hours upon arrival to generate this. So if you've already arrived in the US and you have not done so, haven't gone on the website to download your I-94, please be sure to do so, as you will be required to upload that document to your iPortal check-in form. So on our next screen, we'll show you a little printout of what it will look like and what information you will have to include to receive your I-94. So when you're sitting down to get this document, make sure that you have your passport with you, as that will have really good information that you will need to input to retrieve your I-94. Once you've put in that information, then you'll be able to print out your Form I-94. You want to check to ensure that on this document, your class of admission is correct. You are all here studying on the J1 visa, so your class of admission should say J1. The admit until date should also have a D/S, which stands for duration of study. And it's also important that you check that your name is spelled correctly. Okay, if any of this information is incorrect, you'll want to contact ISPO so that we can help assist you with getting that updated to have the most correct information on there. Okay, as mentioned, in addition to immigration documents, you'll also want to make sure that you have the most updated address with us. So you will need to visit tritonlink.ucsd.edu and click on addresses to update your US address and foreign address, and also make sure that you have an emergency contact information submitted in your Triton link. So Before you submit your check-in form, it's important that you retrieve your I-94 and also make sure to go on the website to to update your address. And this will give you a little screenshot. So when updating your address, note that your current address can be a local US address. If you depart at any time during the quarter, you can also use a foreign address. There are instructions on Triton Link on how to input your foreign address if needed. So if you need any assistance with this, there are resources available to you, which you can see here. And if you have any questions, you can also always ask ISPO and we'll be able to help support you with getting that updated, okay? Okay, so we're almost coming to the end of our orientation, but we also wanted to make sure to discuss traveling and emergency contacts. So I know many of you are already here in the US. Some of you might be preparing to travel to the US or will be traveling in the next upcoming days. So it's really important to have all of the documents that you will need for entry in the US to travel. So for a complete list of documents required for entering the US, you can visit our website, which is itravel.ucsd.edu, to learn about the documents that you will need when entering the United States. Okay, so also for those of you that may be wanting to explore California, check out a couple little cities and states before classes begin. It will also give you great information about the documents that you'll need to carry with you when traveling within the US. So if you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out our iTravel website to go over those documents that you will need to enter the US and while traveling inside of the United States. The travel signature is going to be on your DS 2019 document. All of you that have been issued a DS 2019 do have a valid travel signature. That travel signature is valid for 1 full academic year. If for whatever reason you don't see a travel signature on your DS 2019, please let us know as soon as possible and we will get one signed and issued to you. However, as I mentioned, all students that have been issued a DS 2018 do have that travel signature and it is valid for 1 full academic year, okay? All right, so any questions, be sure that you are submitting those questions in our Q&A box. We will have time at the end of this session to go over any questions that you may have. And now I'll pass it back to Grace, who will close us out.
Thank you so much, Rogeria. So we actually do have a few questions in the chat for you. So our first question reads, hello, I will be arriving on campus slightly late the week of September 27th, and I wanted to confirm if classes are still accessible online so I can attend those before I arrive.
Well, okay, that's a great question. So classes will be up to the discretion of the professor. So if your courses are in person and you will be arriving late, it's really important that you email the professor and or the TA, if you do have TAs for your class or your section, to inquire about remote options to join the class while you prepare to arrive to the US. I know some professors do have options of remote capabilities, so they will be providing courses both in person and available to be streamed. But it's really important that if you know you will be coming late, to check in with your professor so that you have that information or can access that information and classwork before you are able to arrive here. But really, really great question.
Thanks so much, Rogeria. Okay, so our next question reads, will you stay enrolled in a course if you fail all the midterms? Or is your visa status in danger when you're not passing the exams?
Oh, great question. Okay, so yes. So if you are failing a midterm, you are still enrolled in the class. So this is a great question. So if you do find yourself struggling in a course and feel that you have been failing the class, you can come speak with us at the International Students and Programs Office about options to apply for a reduced course load. This might fall into one that we consider academic reduced course load. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you're enrolled in the course and you're not able to to do well academically or having issues with it, please come speak with us because there are options available to you. As mentioned in the orientation, you do have to apply and receive reduced course load authorization before dropping the class, but there are options available, so just make sure to seek us out. We'll be able to help assist you. So the second part of the question about the visa status, if you do find yourself in a bad academic status, that can have impacts to your visa. However, again, if you wanted to explore options before that happens, we will definitely be available to talk that out with you. But your visa status is not in jeopardy if you do find yourself failing a class or an exam. That only comes into play when you are failing quarters, I should say, and are falling into an academic integrity violation or issue. But we are here to help assist, so hopefully none of you have that happen. We want good academic success, and so make sure to reach out to us so we can get you on board with that.
Great. So our next question reads, during the 30 days after our J1 visa has expired, are we allowed to travel in and out of the US? Or if we do travel outside of the US, could we not get back in?
Great question. So yes, no. So if you are during your grace period, right, you are able to travel within the United States. If you are traveling out of the US, you will not be able to re-enter on your J1 visa as it is no longer valid. So it's really important to know that if you do plan to travel internationally, that includes going to Mexico or Canada, you will not be able to re-enter the US on your J1. So you will have to make plans to re-enter on another visa status or make plans to depart directly from the country that you have visited. So the 30-day grace period only applies when you are in the United States. And if you do travel, unfortunately, the grace period voids and you can't return back in the US to use up any additional time that you might have had.
Okay, so our next question reads, do we first need to apply for J1 post-completion academic training and then for a new DS 2019, or is it in the opposite order?
Great question. So at the end of your program, if you do find yourself wanting to apply for post-completion academic training, right, you will have to submit the application first. You will have to get approval from both UC EAP as well as your home university that both give the okay for you to apply for the post-completion employment. All the details about applying will be on our website, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but once you have that authorization and you submit the request, you will get an updated DS 2019 as a result of your academic training. So you only apply for that first.
Okay, so our next question is, what is the teaching system at UC San Diego like? Do we only have lectures or will we also have small group tutorials?
Oh, that's another great question. So that really depends on the classes and the programs that you are enrolled in. UC San Diego has a little mixture of both. Depending on the courses, some of them are large lecture styles with the combination of smaller TA sessions that do more of that group work, projects and collaboration. So it really depends on the courses that you are enrolling in. Right now, I'm sure that classes have been uploading their syllabi, and if they have not, I know during the first week of week 1 or week 0, we like to call it, you will be able to download and read those syllabi. So on the syllabus is going to be where you'll find information of how the course will be set up and taught. Yes, but if you had any questions, you can definitely reach out to your professor or your teaching assistants if you do have those in your courses to help assist you with that teaching style.
Great, thank you. Okay, so our next question is, what documents are J1 students required to carry on their person while in San Diego? For example, do we need to keep our passport with us at all times? Thanks in advance.
Question. So no, in fact, we would advise not to do that just in case you get it lost or stolen or damaged. We do advise to have copies of your documents with you at all times. So this is a great chance to take pictures on your phone or on your laptop. If in the case you ever do need to show or have that information, you'll have it readily available. But we do advise that you keep your documents in a safe place, dry, safe place that doesn't have a chance of it being damaged, lost, or stolen. When you are traveling or applying for any kind of authorization, have it be applying for your DMV driver's license or applying for a social security number or purchasing something, that's when you will most likely have to have your visa documents with you. And of course, traveling, the biggest one, you will have to have your visa documents with you, but for all other times, it's okay to have them in that safe place and just have those copies on your phone if in the case you ever do need them.
All right, so our next question reads, I am already in the US. How can I activate my CVIS record? Do I need to submit my documents online or in person?
Yes, so you will need to submit our iPortal check-in form. So that will be online. So you don't have to come into the office to hand us any documents, but you will have to go onto our iPortal application system and upload your I-94. So before you go on to upload your I-94, it's important that you submit our iPortal check-in form. It's important that you first download your I-94 from the CBP website and update your address. Okay, once you've done those two things, then you're able to just go right onto our iPortal and submit our iPortal check-in form. Our check-in form is very quick. It shouldn't take you more than 3 minutes to submit. Once we've received it, we will process within, I believe, 3 business days, and then you will be notified that your CVIS record is now active and you are good to go. So yes, you will be utilizing our iPortal system and uploading your documents directly there.
Great. Okay, so our next question is, before our J-1 visa expires, can we travel to Mexico?
Great question. So yes, you are able to travel during your program of study. However, it's really important that before you travel, you pay close attention to travel advisories and information on our iTravels website. Make sure that you have all of the documents with you when you are traveling. Just make sure that you have all valid documentation and understand any requirements there might be to enter that country you're traveling to, whether it be Mexico, and understand the requirements to return back to the United States upon traveling abroad. As we know, during this current situation, traveling abroad is a fluid situation. So there's policies that can be changing or can change and might be changing. So it's really important to just check out our website before you embark on any international travel to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information before leaving the United States.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Okay, our next question is there a specific collective online area in which we can see all the resources related to our enrolled courses, such as the reading list, the class structure, the lecture office hours, or is this individually provided for each course?
So it's been a while since I was a student, Grace. You might have more information than I do, but from my understanding, I want to say that it is going to be individual for each course. So you will have to check this out and have to really be on top of your courses and understand the requirements of each course. This is a good time if you have right now before courses begin to kind of look at those syllabi and get your calendars updated so you have all that information on your calendars and ready to go because you will have to keep track of all of that stuff. Grace, is that?
That's okay. Perfect. And to echo that, the first thing that your professor should give you is their syllabus, just like our jury mentioned, and that should include the reading list for the course, the class structure, as well as the professor's office hours. So each professor will probably send you their own syllabi, their own syllabus, but that should include a lot of that information you mentioned in your question.
Thank you, Grace.
All right. So we have a couple questions about the pass, no pass system. So Argeria, do you know It's been a while since we've both been students. If they choose the pass no pass system, will they receive a specific grade in each exam or just pass no pass?
Okay, so I want to say that you are receiving a grade. So there is, so for pass, no pass, there is a certain grade percentage that you have to maintain. So that still matters. That will still be held accountable for you to pass the class. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that should be explicitly outlined on the syllabi or on UCSD's website or academic website. We can definitely share that with you and share that link as well.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I'm going to speak to another question in the Q&A regarding pass no pass. So you'll still receive like grades on your exams, just like Argeria mentioned. But when the course is complete, like on your transcript, for example, it would then say pass no pass. And the syllabus should say like essentially this grade and higher is pass and this grade is lower is no pass. So throughout the course, you'll still receive grades on all of your exams and papers and projects. But then at the end of the exam, like for a transcript or for when someone else is reading it, at the end, they'll just see pass, no pass, if that makes sense. So during the course, you'll get grades, but at the end of the course and into the future, it'll just say pass, no pass. Right? Okay. So we have a student whose question is, my visa expiration date is 2026. Is this different from if this is different from F1 expiration date? Is that correct? I just want to confirm.
That is correct. So it's a great question. So the validity of your visa and your validity of your DS 2019 will have two separate dates on there, right? So this goes back to kind of us describing the visa as your key. So the visa is the key to enter the US. However, your DS 2019 documents are the thing that allows you to stay and study here in the US. So you are only able to be in the US for the duration of your DS 2019. So even if your visa has an end date way in the future, you're not able to remain here. You only are able to stay for the validity of your DS 2019 document, which we also sometimes refer to as receiver's record. So some students have CS 2019s for 1 quarter, 2 quarters, or up to that full academic year. You're only able to stay and remain for the validity of that. If you were to leave the US at the end of your program and apply for another program to return back, that's when you would be able to, might still be able to use that visa, but for your program here at UC San Diego, you can only stay for the validity of your DS 2019. Hopefully that is clear.
Great. And then our last question is, what documents will I need when traveling within the US versus what documents do I need when traveling outside and re-entering?
So yeah, that's a great question. So the complete list of documents will be available on our itravel.ucsd website. I don't want to run through the list now just to be mindful of the time, but in essence, when you are traveling international, you will have to take all of your documents with you. When you are traveling within the US, you only have to take your I-20 and a valid form of identification. But you will find way more information at much more length on our iTravel website. So be sure to check it out. It's going to have a really, really comprehensive and great checklist for you to review. And then
go ahead.
I do know that we have just a couple more slides in our deck, Grace, just about programs.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. So yes, that's all the time we have for questions today, but I'm just going to wrap us up with a few reminders. So we do have our meetups going on. So we have both regional meetups where you can meet students from maybe your same home region, or maybe you want to meet students from a different region, as well as interest-based meetups. And so that can be everything from hiking. I think there's a hike going on this Saturday, to like vegetarian options in San Diego. So be sure to check those up. You can see them at our orientation website, iorientationucsd.com/meetup. And they're also on our iEvents calendar. fun fact about our iEvents calendar. So it's obviously very populated right now with all of our orientation events, but this is actually a live calendar throughout the whole year. So a lot of students will bookmark it to see like what's happening at UC San Diego right now, and they'll head to our iEvents calendar to get an idea of what's going on. So be sure to check that out, both now and into the future. Okay, and a few final reminders. So you can go to that same orientation website to register for other sessions. We did receive a couple questions about surveys, and I just want to confirm that the way we verify that you've met your 2-session mandatory requirement for international orientation is filling out the surveys for those respective sessions. So it's really important that you fill out those surveys. You'll get the survey in a couple of different ways. So the first way is the web browser that you used to launch this webinar. Once we close the webinar, we'll automatically refresh with the survey link. So I would recommend keep an eye out for that. Stay tuned, make sure not to close that right away. If for some reason you missed that one, you will also get an email reminder tomorrow saying, hey, make sure to fill out this survey, and it will have the survey link. So that's another way. And if for some reason you're not able to get the survey link in any of those ways, I'm also going to put in the chat, you can email iprograms@ucsd.edu, and we'll be sure to send you the survey link. Okay, and last but not least, iupdates.ucsd.edu has the most up-to-date information from ISPO, things that we really want you to know. You'll also get a lot of those updates through our weekly newsletter. You can contact us in our advising hours. So right now we're currently offer Zoom advising, but if you want to physically come to our office, we do have some front desk advising that's open right now. And lastly, we hope that you follow us on social media. I think we're doing a giveaway that's starting today or tomorrow, I believe. So keep your eyes peeled to maybe win a gift card or a t-shirt, but hope to see you on social. And with that, thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. We are so excited you're here at UC San Diego. I know I'll just speak for myself. EAP students are super fun. They're just really involved during their time typically. Yeah, it's really fun to interact with you all, meet you all. And I hope that if I see you, make sure you come say hi. Would love to meet you in person as well. All right, thanks so much everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.